point. Melee cores kind of suck against this VP draft.
Yes.
Like, there's so many traps, and the Wraith King is one hero that we talked about that has some advantages this game. There's some things that might be a bit harder for him, but if you're Mineski now, I think you don't pick any more melee heroes.
And look who they banned.
Really hard.
The Necrophos and the Mirana, who are two of the best range heroes that are left. Too.
Absolutely.
So well thought out here from VP.
What do you think about the Pugna for the Mineski side? I think Pugna is a good hero against Klinks and Ulsa in general because of not because of they use a lot of mana, because they're heavily relied on the physical damage and attack, and then Deckerfight can remove a lot of it.
Deckerfight can definitely be really good here.
Spirit.
I both like and dislike this pick at the same time because it shows that Mineski want to try to take some initiative and jump in, but there are a couple of traps here. We've seen Roger play Earthshaker a couple of times in the group stage. He is on point with this hero. And Blink Echo Slam is no joke for Storm. Even if you're the one jumping in, if you don't see the Shaker, it's actually really difficult to go. He also has to deal with Global Silence. And usually what Storm does against Silencers, he gets a Yule, so he can get out of that Global. But guess what? When you drop down from that Yule, you get fissured, and then you die. So I'm not 100% on board with this. And in addition to that, he doesn't know his lane matchup.
He doesn't.
So that's the curse of being in this first pick position toward the end, is that if the enemy hasn't picked their mid, you got to show something. But
how would he do against an Earthshaker?
As Storm in mid, 1-on-1, that's I think both heroes just fine. I think Storm might be happy with that matchup more than against other heroes, but Shaker's still fine.
The Huskar being still in there, like one of those heroes.
There are a couple of picks that are.
I think you can put Klinks against the Storm Spirit, but I think you want to put it against the Wraith King the most at the moment.
Yeah.
And then, depending on the Mineski's safe lane, I don't know what it is, but Ulsa against Storm is fine too, but I don't think you really would want to do it. But
we've seen Weehaw for Pain play the Ursa mid against Storm 2 or 3 times this tournament, I believe, and all of the time Storm was fine. And so the logic is obviously Storm, well, in order to get CS, you generally need to walk in and use the Static Remnant, and that's when Ursa can punish you really hard. But if you're really good at manipulating the creep aggro, you can kind of generally pull them somewhat away from the Ursa and just take CS at your tower. Ursa poses no threat whatsoever to your tower, so you're okay with going jungle a little bit when you need to. So I would not advise that as an option here for VP. It doesn't seem to work very well.
How greedy do you think Mineski can be here in terms of their safe lane? It has to be someone like, they're banning out a Venomancer from Virtus Pro, so they're worried about someone who's extremely strong in the lane. Like, you hark back, some teams might want to go for like a Drow here, but it's unlikely they'd be able to get away with it, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't think Drow against Klinks is good either.
Too much gap closed. I mean, there's Earthshaker too, but
Strafe ruins you as well.
10 seconds remaining.
It's pretty tricky. I'm not completely sure. I'm wondering if Mineski are actually considering putting the Wraith King position 1 this game. I think that would be a mistake.
It's played it a lot though.
Yeah, just now that we've seen the extra 2 picks from VP, after the first phase we kind of like Necro or the Wraith King a little bit more this game, but now it's starting to look difficult for Wraith King to truly carry the game. So it feels like they need that perfect win condition hero. Something is kind of feel like Mineski will maybe, I said it last game, might fall back on the Spectre here, but they would be picking that into Ursa and Klinks. Oh, it's banned? Oh, I didn't see it. They banned it themselves.
I mean, it's an excuse for Mushi to play Medusa. Have we found it? It's the last game at TI.
That actually doesn't sound that bad.
Radiant team's turn to pick.
Oh, and it will be Detroit.
I don't like this hero very much, but...
so does the crowd, apparently.
We have seen OG work with it, right?
OG made it work earlier today in their game.
That was an early pick, though, I think. Where, like, part of the viability of it was that it was early and flexible, and you had a couple different options, and not necessarily this 9th pick.
And there were a couple of things that happened in that game that Troll wasn't even in control of that really made a big difference, like the courier snipe and stuff that was on that game. So can't really rely on that necessarily.
But Troll is pretty strong in the laning phase, like because you are afraid of going against Ulsa, right? And then Troll's another hero that can do really well.
That the crowd will not do that I can guarantee.
Yeah, so VP did play this hero against LGD, Storm as well. There was a very key moment from maybe in that game where Somnus that avoided the black hole. But for Troll Warlord, I feel like this matchup, it's a bit weird, right? Because in lane you're okay, but later on in the game, the Black Hole's a problem.
Pasha wants his revenge.
He
That black
does
hole.
indeed. Game 2 around the corner. There's a lot of things to know, a lot of things to look for. Nahaz, what are those things?
Shiver, VP have rolled the dice here with a first phase Ursa in their draft. Ursa is only 5-12 in the tournament when picked in the first phase, 14-12 in all other games. The Vengeful Spirit was the hero of last game, and in my opinion, Solo set a tournament record 34 assists on that hero, had 21.2k hero damage, which was actually ahead of the Dragon Knight and within 3k of the other Mineski cores. Ninja Boogie, though, is playing the Venge in this game. He is 48-24 all-time on the hero, 6th highest win total, and the #1 assist average at over 14 assists a game. He's going to be instrumental in these fights, so stopping the Black Holes from that 5th pick Enigma on the side of Virtus Pro. It is the last hope for SEA here at TI8. Mineski are the backs against the wall down to their final game. Can they stay alive in the tournament? One more time out to Capitalist and Blitz.
I have to say, Alan just infuses me with enthusiasm, and I already thought I was brim full because we're getting Mineski versus VP Game 2. I thought, after the start of Game 1, once VP really started winning, I was like, oh no, this game's going to be like just over. And then Mineski, they showed that they can turn things around, and hopefully they're going to be able to do so in this series so we can see Game 3.
I don't care if you go home, give me some hype games.
They were not a big fan of the Troll last pick. What did you think about that?
I think Troll last pick is a little bit interesting just because you're playing against an Ursa who can just enrage off. The mischance, he can get in your face. The Clinks is also very good at that. The Silencer, I think, is going to be very good against the Storm. It's really hard for melee heroes in general to play against Enigma. Ooh, I don't know. But I can't root against Storm for obvious reasons.
Yes, as a physical embodiment of the hero, you even went through the same physical transformation he did as well. I understand that you've got some significant biases going into this game, but seems like we're not going to have any early action here. Both teams kind of trying to scout out. We saw Roger being able to throw down a ward to block the pull camp, which is probably really important for this off lane of the Earthshaker Enigma. They want to be able to pull the lane back as much as possible, so being able to keep that camp locked is going to be really important.
I think what's important for Mineski in this game is to stay calm, because you are 1 game away from elimination, but you can also think we're still 2 games away from just getting out of this. We can knock out the favorites. You needed 2 wins anyways.
Ninja Boogie and Ice. They plant a trap. They're going to be able to come in from behind and catch Solo, and that could be your first blood as Ice just needs to be able to get another swing in, but Solo, he may have regened up too much, so he's going to be able to eat through the trees. They have another round of stuns. He managed to juke out the stun for a second, but it's still going to be found. That'll be your first blood. The bounty runes, though, 2 already picked up by Virtus Pro. Mineski did get the other 2, so it's going to be an early advantage for Mineski.
And our 3rd man in the sky is going to be Pimp Uncle once again for this game. He did not miss the first blood.
Indeed. Good job, JJ. What is this lane? It's going to be a Silencer Ursa versus Wraith King Dark Willow. I feel like any of these off-laners with the stun combined with Dark Willow are really tough to be able to play as the 5 position in lane. It feels like the support really just can't be out of position ever.
Yeah, we saw that in the last game, where it was quite hard for the tree to do anything, but we saw the purpose of Roger as the game went later. I think they're willing to trade that a little bit.
What do you think about this mid matchup? No one is putting so much pressure on Moon Storm Spirit right now. Is this a lane that Clinks is supposed to win?
Yeah, handily. It's a really tough one. Storm does have high armor, but what's really annoying about him is that you sort of have to think of him as a melee hero just because...
Moon got a little too close! He was searching for the ward and no one jumps on him.
He was so fast at that, reacting.
Yes.
He saw that he was going to go up. There's no ward up there.
And look at that. Roger spotted out the courier. There's no way. Is he really going to try and run it down? He's going to go for the... He thought about it. He was like, I'll Fisher block it and run it down. I don't think that was really going to work for you, Roger, so it's a good thing he didn't try.
This mid lane, though, like I was saying, Storm, you do have high armor, but the low move speed means that you have to commit to things a lot more than you should. The fact is that Remnant pretty much makes you a melee hero.
If he gets Fisher blocked here, it could be a second death for Moon in a lane that's already hard. Here comes that Fisher block with the strafe activated. Moon's gonna run away, but no one's attack range is just too large. Ice turning around, immediately gets a crit. Now it's gonna be able to pop out the skeletons. Only one of them though, so they're gonna need the extra damage coming out from the Dark Will. It just needs to be able to keep the vision. The skeleton actually loses it, and they lose that Dark Shadow Realm damage. And now with the silence on the Jab, turns around, does manage to get the Brambles onto Ursa. Ramsey's dangerously low. They're almost able to finish him up, but a healing cell managed to keep him alive over the top lane. Roger gets super low. They do manage to get the whirling axes on him from range, and Ninja Boogie will be able to pick up the kill.
A lot of action early as both teams getting into it, and this mid lane still very successful for VP. This is going to be the saving grace for them, even though their side lanes are hurting.
Ramsey's lost that healing sound, but he still has plenty of tangos, but for the time being, while he slowly regens up, it'll be the Wraith King controlling the lane and getting the better of the CS war, which leads us with top lane we haven't really talked about too much. It is an Enigma pulling back the lane against a Troll and Vengeful Spirit. So between the Earthshaker blocks as well as the denies out for the Eidolons, Pasha is sitting in a pretty good position laning-wise. He's got the creep equilibrium in his favor. As long as he doesn't feed away too many Eidolons. Attempts to go for the deny. Mushi, though, already had the miss percentage chance on him. Managed to get a Fisher onto Ice, eats through the tree to open up a path to safety.
Pasha, 11 denies in this top lane. Much CS as Mushi has. As long as he plays this passively, he's going to win this lane. You see, he's already got the level advantage. This is the benefit as an offlaner. Pasha, his laning phase, he can't really kill anyone. This hero requires a lot of items, but it's awkward because you can't make plays around the map. You just have to sort of farm for yourself.
Yeah. And his Vengeful Spirit didn't really have much of a job. Finally did manage to find the ward and goes for the pull, which will really help out in this laning configuration. Roger trying to protect that double damage rune. Moon is going to be the one to get it instead. Now, looks like he wants to just, is he just going to go jungle? I don't really think he's trying to put in the resources to find the Earthshaker top lane. Pasha slowed down. There's going to be the Malphus on Ibushi though. Won't really be able to catch up.
Oh, look at Roger. He's going to go for this play right now. He's loaded up the enchant. Moon, where are you going here?
If he can get the Fisher block,
he's got boots and a wind lace.
He may be able to run him down. Moon's right now pinging to be able to get some help.
Oh,
Picks up the bottle and will be able to get the regen out. So Roger gives up on that kill.
Still kind of holding the area, but Moon's going to be more than healthy enough to survive.
So he just read the fact that Storm Spirit, his lane is just gone at this point, right? Clinks just seems to dominate the mid lane, so now Roger's just trying to keep the Storm. So not only does it seem like they're winning the lanes because they've got the top 2 CS on the board right now and a lot of denies from their off-lane Enigma, but they're also getting better control of the map via the bounty runes, a large part thanks to Roger. He's just freed up to rotate as much as he wants.
Roger just walking back. Still only level 2, but he's putting significant pressure onto the Storm. Doesn't allow him to play a Shrine. Can't really go for the bounty runes himself. Not a very easy game to play, so he's trying to recover in the jungle, but the jungle doesn't really give you the same XP it used to.
Right.
Getting level 6 isn't going to be easy for him, and that's just going to allow this Clinks to further snowball ahead in this game.
This is a siege wagon coming in. No one certainly could take that tier 1 tower.
Top lane rotation. Pasha.
The Eidolons are gone now. So maybe they will try for the dive as the creeps are going to tank up the tower for them. Pasha slowed down by the whirling axes. Now the wraparound from Ninja Boogie able to land the stun. Immediately there's double TPs coming in. Pasha will still die in solo. Well, he actually gets into the tree, so he's going to be okay. But a hasted up Moon might be able to help out to be able to get the kill onto Roger. He throws in a ward into the high ground, managed to get a 3-man Fisher off of it. But Moon continues to get him slowed down more and more. Will be able to pick up the kill. So a very fortuitous rune for Moon, who really didn't have much of a mid-laning phase against no one's Clinks.
Definitely needed some sort of pickup like that. And that's a very good rotation. It comes in with the catapult. But unfortunately, when you're playing against an Enigma, he's going to convert it almost immediately when he comes back alive.
And mid tower falls at 7 minutes in. Mid
Dire
clinks.
Snow fortified their
Between the Ring of
structures.
Aquila, he's got that minus armor. Well, and the Searing Arrows. No hero in lane just means he's able to take that tower super early. Ice. Now a little bit careful here. Ice will pull the creep wave right next to the tower and see if he can get the creep wave right in front, so he doesn't have to worry too much about overextending himself.
Yeah. Does have the clarity running. Got full mana, no one thinks twice about it. Instead, it looks like he wants to run to this bottom lane.
Stun onto Ramses, blocked in by the Fisher. Ice does not have that reincarnation, and he has nowhere to be able to run to either.